Live from Pitt Studios in the Peterson Event Center here on the campus of the University of Pittsburgh, it's the Pat Narduzzi Show. Head coach Pat Narduzzi. It's also the Hall of Fame weekend presented by PNC Bank. Make today better. And coach, it's hard to believe you're in the second quarter of the season as of this Saturday as the UCF Knights come to Heinz Field.
No question about it. It's kind of how we do. We break it up into quarters, and after those first three games, you kind of move into the next. And the season goes fast. These games go one by one. I tell our guys to cherish each moment. I mean, there's 12 of them guaranteed. That's all you get, and we're on number 4.
And you have an opportunity. This is a very good football team. You saw them last year, how quick they get to the line, how many plays they run in a game, and we'll spend some time a little later talking in detail. But overall, your impression of a very good Knights team ranked 15th in the country.
Yeah, 15th ranking. I think our third top 25 team will play out of 4 games this year. Another one of those crazy schedules. But they're really good. They're as talented as a football team in the country. They belong in the top 15, top 10. They're athletic. They're well coached. They have a system on offense where they're going to try to run. I mean, they're averaging over 90 plays a game. Last week we played 72. So you can imagine that. So, we've got to get some 2 deep guys playing in the game. And then offensively, we've got to move the ball against them. We've got to control the clock a little bit. We've got to keep their offense off the field to have success, which means we've got to, have first downs. We've got to run the ball better than what we have. And but mainly we've got to move the sticks and score some points.
Your football team has been tremendous in the second quarter. If you took the second quarter of all 3 games so far, scoring touchdowns, keeping the other team out of the end zone, but you need to score in the second half to get over the hump and complete those games.
Yeah, I'm thinking about telling the team that, hey, we're playing 2 halves, but there's 4 second quarters that we're playing. Right. We got to play the second quarter 4 times and see if we can get that done.
The highlight was certainly Kenny Pickett again. He took the bar a little higher from his previous passing performance and finds himself in the leaderboard in that category, but the run game has been stuffed for the most part. How do you change that?
I think, the opponents help you change that a little bit. I mean, they had a pretty good front 7. Those 2 linebackers they had in there, Cam Brown and who's the other one? Micah. I mean, those guys are going to be in the NFL. They could be first, second round draft choices. So they did a good job at really limiting what we do there, and we took advantage of what they were giving us. But we'll eventually get it going. It's going to take a little bit more time than we all want.
Well, dialing back to that game, on the upside, the noise, the crowd level didn't seem to bother your team, and you were really focused and didn't get a lot of those kind of penalties that were, irritating to you as a coach in the previous game.
Yeah, I mean, nobody asked about that question after the game about, hey, why is there no false starts?
It was clean.
It was a clean game overall. Our kids did a nice job of being disciplined. One of the best ones we've had in a while, I think, as far as just doing the little things right. And I look back to the Central Florida game a year ago. We had 3 turnovers, and all 3 of them were penalties on it. We had an interception by Dane Jackson, who doesn't look like interference. I won't complain about that a year later.
Right.
DeMar Hamlin has a pick, and we get a late hit on a quarterback. We have a caused turnover. We have another hit on a late quarterback. I mean, it's we can't hurt ourselves with those penalties this week, but it was a major improvement last week. In the crowd noise, I told everybody, I usually tell it like it is. I'm not beating around the bush. We've had about 3 or 4 of them in all preseason camp going up to that Ohio U game. So those false starts just, it puzzled me why we had those.
You took a lot of heat for the 4th and 1 decision. Few days behind you. Any change in your thought process on that?
No, I mean, you take the heat. That's why they call you coach. If coaches didn't take heat, it'd be easy. So you embrace that. That doesn't bother me at all. We're going to take heat for every call. I should take more heat for some of the timeout usage than really the 4th and 1. I was upset with myself really about some of the timeout usage we had. I wish we had at least 2 timeouts left in that final half. I wasted one when the defense was on the field and they were mounting a drive, and I figured I just need to give these guys a blow just so we can play. End of the 3rd quarter, early 4th quarter, I forget what drive it was. But no, I don't have any second thoughts about that. I mean, I should say you always have a second thought. I mean, you always got, I wonder what if we would have tried it, But, like I said, you know what the feeling is on the sideline. You know what the feeling is talking to your coaches on the headphones. It's not like you ever make that all by yourself and say, Whip wants to go and I don't want to go. We're all together in those decision making. If he had a play that he's like, Coach, we'll get it, then we go. And he felt like the 2 other plays that we had that we were running that series were touchdowns, and we didn't execute them. And to have a 4th one not be executed properly, we just thought it was best to try to get that field goal, which was maybe the most disappointing thing.
But the takeaway from that is that you were in that position. I mean, this is supposed to be a top team that you were playing, and your team was heads up. In fact, outplayed them in other areas. So, I mean, the takeaway is you can play with anybody, and so you get a chance to do that again with another talented team.
Yeah, we get to do it again. And again, it does. I mean, our kids did what we asked them to do. I mean, we went down there, we got down there, we didn't execute it properly to get in the end zone on 3 downs. It shouldn't take 4 downs from the 1, in my opinion. If you need 4, something's wrong to start off with. We did that a couple years ago at Virginia Tech and lost the game down there in Hokieville, I guess. But our kids did a nice job. We end up getting a stop, and then the offense comes back on the field. I just wish I had timeouts left. So we got to do a better job of using those.
But it came right down to the last play of the game. And coming up, it's Hall of Fame weekend, and we've got a Hall of Famer. Ironically, there are 4 names of the 12 that are from the football program that will be inducted Friday night in the Hall of Fame. One of them isn't Sam Clancy for football. It's for basketball, even though he played pro football. Sam's going to join us. Going to hand him the ball.
We could.
6'7".
No doubt.
We'll be back with more on the Pat Narduzzi Show. You're listening to the Pitt Panthers Radio Network.
That will do it. Hail to Pittsburgh. Touchdown, Pittsburgh.
Thank you for coming.
They helped me a lot to just, mold me who I am.
Pitt just has it all.
Everyone is on their feet.
Hail to Pitt. We just witnessed history.
Pitt Beyond the Script, weekly on AT&T Sportsnet.
Penn State has been, the program in college volleyball for the last, arguably 15 years. And so for us to be with the team we have and to now be playing them in, in huge environments with, arguably pretty equal teams, it's a great opportunity for Pitt to, to be one of the best and to be seen like as an equal against, one of the greats.
Welcome back to the Pat Narduzzi Show. It's Pitt and UCF. It's Hall of Fame weekend, and we got a Hall of Famer right here, Coach. Kind of did a tease. Mr. Sam Clancy first. Congratulations, big man.
Thank you. Thank you.
6'7", and when people see you, they know you're a
6'5" and
Pittsburgh-
3/4.
They know you're a Pittsburgh guy, Fifth Avenue, Brashear. They know you're University of Pittsburgh. But there's some people that are confused. They know you played basketball, but I think some people think you played football in college, and that wasn't true.
It never happened, though. And the Pittsburghers who know me just from basketball. It's after I left and came back, and then you get the new generation say, oh, he played football, too. So it was interesting how it happened, though. And I thank God for Jackie Sherrill, because he recognized talent where I didn't believe in myself. And he's the one that got the ball in motion just from a week and a half of practice. I wish I could say I did more. I did a week and a half for Jackie Sherrill in the spring ball of 81. And then, as you know, 13
couldn't
years,
get you out any longer, huh?
13 years later, I'm playing professionally.
That's pretty amazing, Coach.
Wow. Yeah, we've had one basketball player in my career ever go out and play football in the spring game. It was Draymond Green. Came out and played in one spring game, maybe a practice before that in a spring game, and then he's like, I think I'll stick to hoops.
Yeah. And I know when Dave Wanstead was here, he used to ask me, can DeJuan Blair play football? And I said, Coach, I think any basketball player can play football if they could withstand getting hit in the mouth, which you will. You can get knocked down hundreds of times, but you got to get back up, and then you learn from that and then hit somebody else in the mouth. So I do think if you got the toughness and you being willing, because that helmet's going to get under your chin several times.
I can't imagine, Coach. You imagine him getting knocked down at any point.
No, it must be a big dude knocking him down, that's for sure.
Well, let's talk about how that happened. So you had a great career at Pitt in basketball, enough to be a Hall of Famer, and then you were drafted by the Phoenix Suns and the Seattle Seahawks. That is so rare. What made you choose professional football?
Well, I got cut from Phoenix. That'll do it.
That's an inspiration.
That's inspiration. No, but how it happened, I got drafted in '81 by the Suns, in '82 by the Seahawks, and all of that came off of just that week and a half practice those. So when Phoenix sent me to Billings, Montana, the very first day was in the month of December. They had 24 inches of snow on the ground, and I get you're in your hotel room, you got this little red light flashing. And I'm like, okay. I called the front desk. Those days you had to go down to the front desk, pick up the pink slip, and then come back and make the call. There was no voicemails those days now. And so it was the guy, Chuck Allen, from the Seattle Seahawks. So I was a little intrigued. Why was a professional football team calling me? So I called him back, and he answered the phone, and he said that Jackie Sherrill had gave him my name and think that I can compete for a position in the NFL, even though I never played for him. And he asked, would you like to play football, son? And I look out the window. They were doing snowmobiles on the main highway in Montana. And I'm like, yes, sir. I give it a shot. I'm from Pittsburgh.
They had the Kingdom then, right?
They had the Kingdom. I knew it, but I did play my basketball season, though. And how I got drafted was because I told a little white lie. Was on the day of the draft, I'm ready to go out my mom's house. And this is after the basketball, because I played the whole Continental Basketball Association league. We lost in the championship. I was going to shoot some basketball just to stay in shape. Me and my cousin, we used to do a full court one-on-one. He was a guard. That's how I was, try to keep up with the smaller guys on the court. And the phone rang, and my mom said, hey, Sam, it's Mr. Allen on the phone. I pick it up, and he said, Sam, you still want to be a free agent? I said, yes, sir. I still want to give it a shot. And then he asked me, he said, anybody else in the NFL have contacted you? And I said, the Washington Redskins contacted me, which they did. They sent a letter, not physically, like I was talking to.
They don't
Mr.
even know
Allen.
that.
Yeah. I said, the Washington Redskins contacted me. He said, he did. He said, I'll call you back in a couple of minutes. So they called back in 2 minutes and said, congratulations. And I go, like, for what? He said, we just drafted you 11th round. So I said, well, thank you. I said, now, what did that mean? This is, I'm so naive from from the Hill District. He said, well, for one, you come in with the draft picks, and two, you get a signing bonus. I said, well, thank you. And then and here's the kicker. He said, what position you want to play? I'm like, I like some glory. I like to score some touchdowns. I play tight end. So obviously that didn't work out. But I did enough in training camp. I ran a 4.6. I remember that I ran a 4.6 at 250 pounds. And I had good hands, though. And how I made the team was this was 6 weeks of training camp, Coach. Remember them days?
Oh, yeah.
Mostly 2 a days. So we had an inter-squad scrimmage, and I got a hyperextended knee in the scrimmage about the 4th week. But I'd done enough to impress them that they put me on injury reserve. And then so I had orthoscopic surgery. I was back on the field in 2 weeks and able to practice those days. And because nobody on injury reserve was hurt. That was the practice squad. And then next thing you know, then that's how I learned the game.
We want to talk a little bit more about football and your Hall of Fame induction. Sam Clancy with us on the Pat Narduzzi Show. You're listening to the Pitt Panthers Radio Network. Welcome back to the Pat Narduzzi Show. It's Hall of Fame week. We're in Pitt Studios here at the Pitt, getting excited for Friday's events, and then, of course, the game on Saturday. 3:30 kickoff, by the way, on the Pitt Panther Radio Network, and we'll be on the air at 1:30 with our pregame. Sam Clancy, one of the 12 Hall of Fame inductees, will join Jimbo Covert, who we all know very well in the football arena, Don Hennon from basketball, Najuma Fletcher from women's track and field, Sue Heon, women's swimmer, Charlie Hyatt from hoops, Lori Johnson, ladies basketball player, Johnny Majors, of course everybody here knows Johnny, Mark May, Lee McRae in men's track and field, Joe Schmidt from football, in the Peary family, who was a wrestling family here, Coach, back in the day. Here's how small Pittsburgh is. One of the Pearys was my childhood dentist. He went to Pitt Dental School. Used to wrestle us down. But that's a story for another day. Sam, I want people to know that not only did you're being inducted for basketball, as we mentioned, you played pro football, but you also played for the Pittsburgh Maulers.
Pittsburgh Maulers is E.J. Borghetti's favorite team.
Is that right?
No, no, but the Maulers was a real stepping stone for me because I left Seattle to come back home to Pittsburgh, and that was the selling point. Is Sam, your name is still big in basketball, you know, and how I got here. Now let me tell you this. So I go to Seattle. I'm there 2 years. The first year I'm on injury reserve. The second year I'm on 16 games straight. Dressed, suited up, never played a regular season snap. How about that?
You got paid.
Yeah, they got paid. But listen, so I was making a little fuss because we get ready to go to the playoffs, and I'm making a little fuss in the locker room too. And one of the coaches overhear me to Eric Lane, one of the running backs. I'm like, man, I'm better pass rusher than this one guy we got. You know, he's a veteran. You know, and I don't want to say his name though. And I said, man, they just give me a chance. I'm telling you, I can make something happen. So I get in the game. All right, the first playoff game was against Steve DeBerg and the Denver Broncos up in the Mile High Stadium. And what I do, I get a sack and a half and stuff. And then that's what started. Then next you know, and we played the Raiders in the AFC Championship game. We got a bus kick, you know, and had some hits on Jim Plunkett. That's the year the Raiders, and this is in '83, the year the Raiders won the Super Bowl. So this is how it all started because of those few playoff plays, 20 plays for each 2 playoff games. So 40 plays is how I got back to Pittsburgh. When George Hellison called me and said they would love me to come back. Because for one, they think I'd be a draw and selling tickets. And for two, they thought that, you know, just from watching those couple 20, 40 plays in 7 to 18 games, that they think I can help the team out.
Well, you always represented Pittsburgh so well. We're excited for you. I know your family. You have 5 children, 3 grandkids. You've always been a Pittsburgh guy. 5 grandkids.
It expanded last year. 2 1-year-olds.
Double down, it just keeps coming.
Keep coming.
So I know your family's very proud of you. And for those that don't know, you're the varsity letter club coordinator here at the university. What does that job entail for you?
Well, for one, since I moved upstairs under life skills, it entailed more than what it was originally. Before, I was just doing alumni engagement, getting them back for reunions, getting them engaged, and then we go in every now and then and try to ask for donations. Now, since I'm up in life skills, is also involve our student athletes. You know, was career networking, resume building. I sat on some interviews with Penny Samaya when we were doing some of the football recruits who came through. I sat on some interviews there, seeing the process. So just pretty much getting our student athletes ready for life after college. Because everybody's not going to be a professional, all right? But everybody can be a professional in life, and that's what we basically try to set them up for.
Coach, who's going to say no when he calls the alumni? This is Sam Clancy.
Sam,
we kind of take advantage of it a little bit though, because they do answer the phone. They do answer the phone, which I love and stuff. And then everybody call me, hey, you got so-and-so number, man. I say, if you can't get him, I hit him up though. And I think that's from the respect I give to Pittsburgh and the university, all right, being from here, the love I have for the university, and they know I'm passionate about Pitt and everything, you know. So and I'm homegrown.
If I'm near Sam on the sidelines, Coach, and you get the squeeze, if something's going on in the game, you know his hands are like catcher's mitts.
No question.
And that's what Lusaka Polite and John Palucci always mess with me. They say, when we need something done, I go down there, and I like to be face-to-face, and they say, Sam, man, you got to put the headlock on them. They teasing me, because they always get done. So you putting the headlock on the guys and everything, you know, man, next you know it's getting done, though, man. They send Sam down there. So I love being back. I love being back. It's the best thing I did, and the reason why I came back is to finish my degree.
And you did it.
And I did it, though. So 2006 or 7, I can't remember. That's all.
You should remember that.
That's concussions, Coach. You know, that I came back and finished up my degree, and I'm so thankful that the University of Pittsburgh continue to give me the opportunity that they did when they recruited me.
Well, Sam, we're really proud of your accomplishments. We're glad you're being recognized Friday night at the Hall of Fame dinner, and we'll look forward to seeing you on the sidelines, too, and on the field Saturday afternoon.
I can't wait. I can't wait.
Let's hear it for Sam Clancy, Hall of Fame inductee. And when we come back, former Pitt quarterback Pat Bostic will talk about the scouting report against the University of Central Florida Knights when we return on the Pat Narduzzi Show. You're listening to the Pitt Panthers Radio Network.
Penn State's playing a little faster offense than they have in the past, and we play a fast offense, so you're going to see some powerful hitting, some quick sets. But both teams also play great defense, so I think there's going to be some really exciting rallies that the fans can really get into. And I think it'll almost be like a playoff atmosphere, 3 months before the playoffs. So it's going to be great.
That will do it. Hail to Pittsburgh.
Touchdown, Pittsburgh!
Thank you for coming.
They helped me a lot to just, mold me who I am.
Pitt just has it all.
Everyone is on their feet.
Hail to Pitt. We just witnessed history.
Pitt Beyond the Script, weekly on AT&T Sportsnet.
Panthers fans, you have a burning question about Pitt football, why not ask Pat Bostic, former Pitt quarterback? Tweet us at 93.7 The Fan using the hashtag AskThePittBooth, and you'll have the chance to do that during our pregame show, which, by the way, Saturday is at 1:30, kickoff at 3:30 at Heinz Field as UCF, the Knights, come to Pittsburgh, and looking forward to that. So, Pat Bostic, appreciate you being here. Coach, he's a football savant. He's our X and O's guy in the pregame.
He knows X and O's. He knows our team probably as good as any reporter that's out there. So he's at practice a lot, and we appreciate him.
You should see him, Coach, in moments where he starts spouting off different sets, and it's pretty impressive. Because I'm on the field, I hear it.
We're going to have to be quick this week. You know that.
Yes.
So
let's talk about the
on
number
one side of the ball.
15th ranked Central Florida Knights. The scouting report on this is they're fast on offense. They get a lot of plays off. Would you say, Coach, they average over 90 plays a game?
90 plays a game, and they're snapping the ball anywhere between 7, on normal down, between 7 and 15 seconds. And that's really fast.
And they got fast players.
And the players are fast, too, yeah.
So what makes them so good? Because they are going for they have a 27-game regular season win streak at stake on Saturday.
Yeah, well, I think it starts with talent. I mean, nobody's good without talent. I think it starts with the players they have on the field. They utilize their personnel properly, but they're going to spread the field. You're going to see receivers almost lining up on the sideline. So they spread you out. They force you to be in man coverage. You can't play any zone. You're covering too much field. Nobody can cover the 54 yards of width. So you're stuck in man coverage out there, and you're spreading the box to the point where it's hard to stop the run.
That's the thing that I think people think air raid when they think of UCF. They run the football. They got 2 really good backs, and their O-line's pretty veteran group.
Their O-line is tough, physical. They play really hard. They're a physical offensive line. I can tell you that.
Coach, you mentioned man coverage on your end. They play a lot of man on their end, a lot of bump. What's your plan for that?
I'm not going to tell you, Pat. Come on. You're supposed to be the guru. You know that. No, we got to be, as Nakia said earlier, we're going to have a lot of, one-on-one matchups. We got to win the one-on-one matchups. But it's going to come down to what routes you run and what we do. But we got to get open. We got to give Kenny time. They've got, I think they lead the country in TFLs as well. So there's going to be pressure on the quarterback as well. So he's going to have to get it out. And our guys are going to have to get open. If they don't get open, it could be a long day.
We talked about this before. At least you've seen this team. But they have a different quarterback this year. But this young freshman has been absolutely lights out in his first 3 games.
He really has. Dylan Gabriel is a football player. They got him from Hawaii, same place Milton was from.
Right.
It's just ironic that they went back to a place, and he's got a lot of moxie to him. He throws a deep ball. As you watch the tape, he's throwing them up like this so guys can run underneath them. So kind of reminds me a lot of Mason Rudolph at Oklahoma State, to how he threw his deep balls. It was up and it's coming down. It looks like a punt. So it'll be interesting to see that live and see if, we've practiced it all week, and see if our guys can make some plays on the ball. They're going to have to.
You mentioned these spread offenses, the RPO. You don't talk a lot about it. People say it a lot. But for those that don't know, how difficult truly is that to defend when you're spread sideline to sideline?
Well, again, you're forced in man coverage out there, as I said, and your linebackers aren't even in any drop at all. They're all going to be sucked up into the line of scrimmage. They line up in a lot of what we call flex formation, which is 2 backs in the backfield, a tailback, and really a tight end, fullback type guy. And then all the receivers are out wide. So they have all their good run game in there, and then they'll just gap protect, they'll max protect, and just hose it deep.
Coach, you talked about timeout management. When you get into 3rd down against these guys, how much during the course of a game will you strategically try to get that timeout so you can sub and get a call on 3rd down? Will that factor in at all?
We can't use those timeouts for that, man. We used too many last week. We can't use it for defense. We're going to need it for offense. I want to save them all, if we could, till the end. But no, we're going to have to get it out there. We're going to sprint. We got better last year in Syracuse, and we just said, listen, we're subbing. If we got to sub in 7 seconds, we got to sub in 7 seconds. So we got to, get the communication. Our kids will know. We've worked the plan already. Last year, even on a 3rd and 12, I believe, we tried to sub it out. I don't know how they subbed. There was a problem there. We had like 18 guys on the field. They ended up getting another shot and a penalty. But the substitution is a big part of our practice this week.
You guys play more guys than you did a week ago?
We'd like to. We'd like to, as long as there's not a drop-off. But, if we're playing 95 plays in the game, we have to. There's no way, for those 4 D linemen, it's like a wrestling match every down. Probably the guys that have maybe the easiest sort of linebackers, but the DBs are running, 60 yards every play. Even if they're running the ball, they're running them off and getting a fresh guy out there because they can. They know it's, they can put anybody in there to run a route that's not going to catch a ball.
All right, Pat Bostic, he'll be on the pregame show and our color analyst for the broadcast. Again,
Philly's not going to be there Saturday, right?
Philly's on his way to San Francisco Saturday with the Steelers, so I'll be in the booth with Mr. Bostic doing the play-by-play. I'm trying to talk fast on the way home. Just try to follow the game. Pat, thank you. I'll see you, partner. And we'll be back with some final thoughts with Coach Pat Narduzzi. You're listening to the Pitt Panthers Radio Network. And we are back with some final thoughts with head coach Pat Narduzzi. It's going to be a big weekend, Hall of Fame, a lot of excitement, a lot of alumni in as you get ready for the University of Central Florida Knights. Coach, final thoughts on the matchup and how you've got your team prepared for the game at 3:30.
Yeah, we're still in the preparation phase, but, having fresh guys is going to be key. Our guys coming off the bench are going to be critical on defense for sure with the 90 plays. And offensively, as we had a staff meeting before I got here, we're going to have to occupy the clock, so running the football is going to be awful important. We've got to establish some type of run game. We've got to win the time possession. If we can keep their offense limited to those plays, if we can get them to 75 plays instead of 90, that's going to go a long way.
I also want to mention you always choose an honorary captain, and this week it is the great Mark May.
No doubt. We knew he was coming in. We've been trying to get him for years. He's been on, Fox or ABC or ESPN, whatever, station he's been on. So be able to get him back this weekend is going to be outstanding. Our kids will really enjoy him.
Yes, he's very articulate, done a great job in his broadcast career, and was one heck of a football player.
I had to, we watch a video, of those guys, and I have to okay the video every week, and he is just a right tackle mauler. I mean, that guy's just eating people up.
He's excited to come back. We had a chance to talk to him at the championship game last year, and he came in, and he's just a wizard, and his football knowledge is pretty remarkable.
It really is. Well, he's done it for a long time. You miss him and Lou Holtz on the game day or the night before.
I know there's been a lot of changes in that world, but think of this. We always talk about how many Pitt players are in the NFL over the years. Right now, it's incredible. And then you look at broadcasting, there's a lot of Pitt-related players everywhere you go. So H2P.
Hail to Pitt.
Coach Pat Narduzzi. Coach, good luck against the University of Central Florida Knights. It's going to be a fun one to watch and an opportunity as we begin the second quarter of the season. Good luck to you.
No question about it. Appreciate it. We need the fans to be out. If you're out there listening right now, Panther Nation, we need you out there. We need you to be loud and try to slow that offense down a little bit.
Let's hear it for Coach Pat Narduzzi on the Pat Narduzzi Show. You're listening to the Pitt Panthers Radio Network.